The Kennedys left the Hotel Texas about 10:35 Friday morning. As you know, they were headed to Dallas. We see Mrs. Kennedy exiting the hotel into the limousine. The president came in next, and they departed. And they went straight up Main Street toward the Tarrant County Courthouse. You'll see how thick the crowds had not dissipated since earlier when he was outside. They'd gotten even thicker, if anything. And you can see the people had spilled out into the roadway. There was just barely enough room to get a line of cars through there going up Main Street toward the courthouse. And then as they approached the courthouse, the Poly High School band was arrayed there on the steps to play for him as he turned the corner. The limousine made a right turn, and they went briefly east on Weatherford so that they could go around and make the U-turn around the backside of the courthouse and head down Belknap, back down to Henderson Street. So they went out Henderson Street and the Jacksboro Highway, and as you all know, they went west on River Oaks Boulevard, straight through here, right outside our building, heading west. This is one of the Odell photos. Mr. Odell was a local photographer here. He shot a series of these pictures as the Kennedys passed. These are some of the majorettes from the Castleberry High School band out here by the road. You see Mrs. Kennedy in the center, the president, Governor Conley. I think this may be one of the Odell photos too. I'm not absolutely sure. I think he took quite a few. And of course, all the children from Castleberry schools were down there. Since all the schools were so close to River Oaks Boulevard, they let them all come down, including my wife. She was in the 8th grade at Castleberry Junior High. And she was down there watching the president come by that morning. This is one of the really iconic photos of that morning. This photograph, or actually kind of a detail of it, when this art show was in Dallas over the summer, they took this photo and they blew it up to gigantic proportions. It was about 12 feet high and floor to ceiling. They had this and about 2 others that were really some of the most incredible photos taken that day. And these kids, they were all in the, I believe they were in the Castleberry Advanced Elementary School, so they're, 11 years old. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was in that.
Were you in that group? You were in that group, yeah. I just love this photo.
I was in the 4th grade.
The 4th grade. 4th grade. Okay. Yeah, I was told 5th and 6th.
And one of them acted is Pat Tulo.
Him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tulo? Is that how you say
Pat
it?
Tulo.
Pat Tulo. Okay. Yeah. Somebody told me the teacher's name was Henderson. Is that true? Henderson? Henry? Miss Henry. Henry. Okay. Yeah, I was told Henderson, but that wasn't right. Henry. Yeah. This photo got a lot of attention at the DMA this summer. So just so y'all know that, people had their pictures taken backed up to this thing all summer long, including me. I got my picture taken against it. So there they are coming through River Oaks. They slowed down quite a bit so people could see them. Here they are passing the intersection of Roberts Cutoff.
Jewel Clinic.
The Jewel Clinic, yeah, exactly. Then they arrived at Carswell Air Force Base a little after 11, and they spent a few minutes out there greeting people as they had since the moment they deplaned the night before. He shook hands with some of the patrol officers out there, and then President Kennedy waved goodbye to Fort Worth. Vice President Johnson had taken off a little earlier because, again, he had to be there to greet the president when they got there, so he was already on his way. It was a 13-minute flight. Of course, you know, it was very brief, and so just a few minutes later, after they departed, they were deplaning at left field, and we'll look at a couple of those photos of them coming down the ramp at left field. And just as it had been in Fort Worth, there were large crowds of people there to greet them at left field. They spent several minutes working the line, the barricade, where people had queued up to try to touch them and see them. This is a painting based on their stop at left field that morning by a San Antonio artist. And when this painting depicts a moment when President Kennedy is about 30 minutes away from joining Abraham Lincoln and James Garfield. And William McKinley is the 4 presidents who have died in our service while in office. Of course, we all know what happened next, and I'm not going to spend any time on it because we all remembered it. We The reason I'm showing this particular paper is because I thought this headline really summed it up so well. President dead, Connally shot, Johnson assumes office. That's pretty much, that's it in a nutshell about what happened next.
Sarah T. Hughes.
So
Sarah Hughes won.
we're going to talk about her in just a second. Yeah. It was one of the worst days of our country. It ranks up there as one of the worst days in my memory ever, because it was just such a loss. You couldn't really comprehend it. And by early afternoon, of course, President Johnson was sworn in by Judge Hughes on Air Force One. Became the 36th President of the United States. This is a pencil portrait of President Kennedy by Fort Worth artist James Record, and I admire the drawing very much. It's called Ask Not, is the name of the drawing. When the 50th anniversary of the president's death began to approach, the Dallas Museum of Art and the Emmett Carter Museum of Art decided to partner up to recreate the art exhibit that I showed you as their way of remembering his presence among us at that time. There's going to be lots of opportunities to relive his assassination. So they decided that why not try to remember a little bit about the happiness and the joy that we're having it here. So over the summer, when the show was at the Dallas Museum of Art, they had this giant banner. It's about 30 feet tall, hanging off the north end of the Dallas Museum of Art with Hotel Texas and Amon Carter's daughter on it. And I just, every time I saw the banner, I just thought, this is just too cool. I'm never, ever going to see this again. So they took it very, very seriously in Dallas. They just kicked out all the stops to do this art show right and do it justice. So I'm going to show you just a couple of scenes inside the DMA over the summer. There's the owl. As he did in 1963, he was the first thing that the Kennedys would see. He's also the first thing that visitors to the DMA show would see, and he's the first thing that you'll see when you go into the Carter show. He's right there in the middle of the room. This is the Feineger, the Aikens. This is one of the, I photographed this gentleman one day over there because I just loved his hat. I said, I got to get me one of those. But he's walking into the Hotel Texas exhibit with a very cool patriotic ball cap. This is the Van Gogh, and I want to show it to you hanging over there because we don't have it in Fort Worth, but we really did have it this summer at the Dallas Museum of Art for 3.5 months. And this was the painting that hung over the bed in the master bedroom in Suite 850. One thing that impressed me about the exhibit over there was how many young people came to see it. A lot of young people were always there when I would go see the show. Lots and lots of young people were there because they were interested. And I hope we get the same response over here on the Fort Worth leg of this exhibition. And this will be the final slide I'll show you. It's another crowd scene at the DMA this summer. And you can see all the young people. And I like to think that that's the youngest visitor that we had to the show. I appreciate your time. And of course, if anyone wants to ask a question, I'll try to help you. I did bring, we have a wonderful catalog of the exhibition at the Carter over here, and I did bring a few copies if anybody's interested.